Give me your theory on Shedeur Sanders' slide.
Well, there's a couple things there. Number one, I think the biggest thing, Dan, and you know this, like the way you conduct yourself, the way you treat people, it matters, right? I haven't talked about this that much just because I don't think it's that big a deal, but it's a small story, right? So last year, I think I did that Colorado State game for CBS. I referenced it with Hunter, right? But I was doing Bills Dolphins on radio Thursday night for Westwood One. But I wanted to make sure I was locked in for the TV game. I flew out on Tuesday night to Denver. I was told that I could talk to Sheduer after Wednesday's practice for Colorado. I go to the practice. I'm in Boulder. After the practice, I'm told, well, he got banged up against Nebraska. He needs to get treatment. Can't meet with you, but he'll meet with you Friday at the production meeting. Okay, no problem. Go to Buffalo, do the game, fly back. Friday production meeting. We talked to Dion. He was great. The coordinators, no Sheduer. We weren't really given a reason, but we did not talk to Sheduer at the production meetings, which, as you know, starting quarterback, especially high-profile player like that, very unusual. I walk out of the hotel, and there's a pickup truck in front of the hotel, and Sheduer's just sitting in the back of the pickup truck. And I kind of regret not going up to him and just introducing myself, hey, Sheduer, I'm Ross, nice to meet you, or ask him why he didn't do the production meeting. But it just made me wonder, Dan, like, people asked me, NFL people asked me after that game, what did you think of Sheduer? And I said, I didn't get to talk to him. Maybe he's the greatest kid ever. Maybe he's a bad kid. I don't know. But I told them the story, and they just kind of nodded their head. And it just made me wonder, Dan, how many stories are there like that in which Sheduer did things that were not customary? He did things non-traditionally. It certainly seemed like that was the deal with a lot of the combine interviews and meetings with teams. And especially at that position, I think it makes him very nervous that already in college, he was getting out of things that you're supposed to be doing. What's he going to be like if he's a first-round pick in the NFL draft?
But if he had Cam Ward's talent, would we be overlooking all of this?
If he had Cam Ward's talent, he still would have been a first-round pick. I think that the Titans would have taken Cam Ward instead of him, meaning the intangibles, the way he carries himself, that stuff matters. But if he was that talented, I believe the Browns at 2, the Giants at 3, they would have taken him. Because also, that's the other part of this. You're okay with having that level of attention if it's your top 5 pick, your starting quarterback. That goes along with that. Once the Giants decided they like Dart more than Sheduer, and the Saints decided they like Shuck more than Sheduer, which, by the way, a lot of people came on my show, the Ross Tucker podcast, and said they had Dart ahead of Sheduer or they had Shuck ahead of Sheduer, so I can live with those. But once those 3 teams made that decision, then he was only going to get drafted to be a backup. And we know this from Kaepernick, from Tebow. Nobody wants the most high-profile player on the team to be the backup quarterback. Nobody wants a lightning rod, polarizing backup quarterback. And I got to tell you, Dan, no, I have no proof of this. I'm convinced that Aaron Rodgers told the Steelers, hey, I'm coming. I'll play for you, but don't take the Sanders kid. Because Aaron doesn't want to deal with that. Aaron doesn't want the first time he has a bad game, people calling for the Steelers to put Shedeur Sanders in. Whether he said something or not, I will believe forever that Aaron Rodgers made it known to the Steelers he did not want Shedeur Sanders in that quarterback room and to have to deal with that in what might be his last year in the NFL.
I'll leave you with this, and the more I've thought about it, the more I'm surprised at this. They didn't have an agent for Sheduer. You have Dion, who is a big cheerleader for his son. His son is listening to his dad pump him up. His dad during Super Bowl week is talking about, I've talked to teams and, hey, I might be steering him in a different direction here. All of this is going on. There's nobody really to tell him what reality is because you're there at Colorado with your dad. You're driving an expensive car. You get to do what you want. Like, that's not reality. This is reality when you go to talk to somebody and they want to know who you are, not who your dad is. They want to know, can you do this? What am I getting here as a person? And that's what really surprises me, that it doesn't sound like somebody was there to be that voice who was going to be the contrarian, to say, hey, you didn't interview well. Hey, this is what I'm hearing. Because I think reporters were really nervous of giving the true story of what was going on. Because I think you had one who came out, maybe it was Todd McShay, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm hearing he had a bad interview. And the blowback was, oh, now we're coming out and going after Sheduer. I even said it on the show. It feels like there was a smear campaign going on quietly. And then all of a sudden now it's coming to the surface. But I kept thinking, where is this coming from? And then we finally found out there are some people attaching their names to what was going on. I'm just amazed they didn't have somebody who was going to play the bad cop to everybody's good cop in this situation.
Well, and not only that, Dan, you just made a fantastic point, because every guy with an agent, they get prepped for the combine interviews. So not only is it the part where he could have had someone to tell him the truth after the interviews or during the pre-draft process, it's pretty clear nobody told him how to conduct himself in those interviews, and he failed them miserably. I mean, I've had people say that he went into those interviews, Dan, as if he had the leverage, right? As if he was in control of the situation. Boy, that does not go over real well.
Yeah.
Those guys, imagine you interview 100 guys at the combine. Only one of them acts like his you-know-what doesn't stink and acts like he can control and say whatever he wants to say. He didn't have someone to prep him properly for those interviews, and it cost him dearly. I mean, we learned this spring how important the pre-draft process is for quarterbacks, especially with Quinn Ewers and these guys going down, Shuck and Gabriel going up. What you do in the spring, yes, after the season, it matters.
Yeah. Yeah, I was told that there was a scenario where Sheduer made the people interviewing him feel like, you got to recruit me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure if I want to go to your team. Why don't you tell me why I want to go to your team? There was that sense of entitlement. Now, that was one situation. I don't know what happened elsewhere, but you're right. It did play a pretty big role here.